We're going to open this work session for the Plain Township Board of Trustees. It's Tuesday, June 14th, 2016. The topic of the work session is local historic preservation ordinance. I'm going to turn that over to Lisa.
Yes, hi. Larry and I have been going back and forth. He's been working diligently, I think, with our state legislators, and finally has information that he feels ready to talk to the board about. So I'll just go ahead and turn it over to you.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
I have enough copies for you and the trustees.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Excellent. Share.
Thank you.
I'll give you mine.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you. You got one?
Yes.
State legislature and Ohio History Connection have been working over the past year in dealing with local historic preservation ordinances. And it's not an especially favorite topic, because the minute people the minute they hear that, they think, oh, you're going to tell me what color I can paint my house and all that, and the little nitpicky things. And it's really not about that at all. It's more about preserving those historic sites. Now, there's federal level things. It's constitutionally sound, law sound, and it's cited. I'm not going to read it, everything there, but the trustees and Lisa have copies of it. State level, the law is cited. And at the local level, it has even gone to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has upheld it. Preservation ordinance is nothing more than local legislation enacted to protect historic districts, individual buildings, and archaeological sites from destruction or insensitive remodeling. It's a legal means by which local communities can identify, evaluate, and protect historic properties. Such laws empower a board or a commission to regulate, to a greater or lesser degree, the design of exterior changes to buildings within a defined area. And then what they have done, the OHC, in collaboration with the state legislature, they've defined what an enabling ordinance is, because, it's a mouthful. It declares public policy. It explains why the review board is being established. It states how the members of the board will be appointed and what their responsibilities are. It includes the criteria and the procedures for the designation of historic districts and individual landmarks. It states procedures for review of work to be undertaken to the designated properties. It provides for the review of proposed demolition and new construction in historic areas. And it stipulates for penalties and appeals procedures. The clear advantage of this enabling ordinance is that it establishes a community's historic preservation program as an integral part of a city or village government recognized by law. Now, I'm not going to read these next several pages, but it goes over what an enabling ordinance should have as far as sections goes. It should have a title, statement of purpose, definitions, procedures for establishing a review board or commission, what the powers and duties of that review board or commission are, the criteria and procedures for identifying, reviewing, and designating historic districts or individual landmarks, procedures and standards for reviewing proposed alterations, including demolition and new construction, and for the issuance of approval to proceed with work to a designated property, enforcement provisions and penalties, appeals procedures, severability, and minimum maintenance. And they give you a website even to go to. And then they give you a sample. And I wish I had made overhead or something, but they give you a sample that you can go through. You know, kind of like it's just a nonsense kind of thing, but it goes over and gives you a sample of No City, USA. And at the end, it gives you a bibliography of local historic preservation legislation. Then the next page is a Section 106 review. Section 106 is part of the National Historic Preservation Act. And it gives you some information on it. How to identify properties. Because whenever you get into this, you use the National Register of Historic Places, and you use their criteria, some of them, to identify, and you use some of their criteria in helping to restore and do things to that property. Now, something also that it enables townships to use is the Ohio Historic Preservation Tax Credit Program. To any owner, if you have an enabling ordinance like this, any owner of a historic building that's going to complete a rehabilitation project can apply, and you can get a preservation tax. Now, nobody in Stark County has applied for it. However, there is a list of other cities and counties that have. Nobody in Stark County, and no city in Stark County has done so. Probably because they don't have an enabling ordinance, so they wouldn't benefit, they wouldn't qualify for it. They also give the number of historic buildings, and they give the figures, the monetary figures that they were able to acquire. A building is eligible for the Ohio Historic Preservation Tax Program if it is listed on the National Register of Historic Homes, or if it's a certified local government historical district, or if it's listed as a local landmark by a certified local government, which is Plain Township Board of Trustees. It's highly competitive. It receives applications biannually, and they have a scoring system, and you get into all of that. The preservation tax credit provides a federal tax credit equal to 20% of the qualified rehabilitation expenditures. So that helps out a great deal along those lines. Now, the last section, as the state continues, along with the state legislature, to work, they have goals that they have set forth from 2016 to 2020. And it's called Finding Common Ground Through Partnerships. And they have their objectives all laid out, things that they want to accomplish in this time frame. And the rest of that is taken right from that. And again, I'm not, I wish I had made overheads so that everybody could see. And there is some good information. And then there's also at the end, certified local government grants that open up. If you have this enabling preservation for historic sites. it opens up additional funding, matching grants, different kind of projects that all relate to this historic preservation. And it's something that requires, again, a lot of thought. This is just an introduction. I don't expect, anything. I just want to introduce this and let you think about it. And it may not be for a couple of years, but I want you, I just wanted you to become aware of it and what the legislature is doing, what the Ohio History Connection is doing, and that it's out there. And we do have a lot of historic homes in Plain Township. We've had some destroyed already. And I would like not to have any more destroyed, if that's possible. We've had 3 homes put on the Preservation Ohio endangered list. That list, though, does nothing more than just raise awareness. That does not keep them from harm or anything else. That just raises awareness for folks, and when they drive by them and they see them, hopefully, people are more aware that that home, has something to do with Plain Township history. That McDowell farm, that's a house that, McKinley visited a lot. And a certain type of sheep, that merino sheep, were raised there. And they make connections with Plain Township history, which I think is, very, very important, not just for now, but for future generations. So, I'm not sure if I can answer them, but anybody have any questions? I know that's a lot to look at, and
First question that even comes up, how would this even interface with zoning, if it does at all, and how could one end up impacting the other, if at all? I guess I'm saying, yeah, I'm saying, because I know there's always a legal side of it.
Well, the one thing that I see is, as of now, we're not a certified local government. That's a process we have to go through with the state, and I know that we are not one. And then, my other question would be, I looked a little bit, it's been a few weeks now, so don't hold me to it, but most of what I saw was applicable to municipalities and villages. Are you aware of any townships
yes.
that have enacted this in
I
Ohio?
was going to ask them,
Yes,
who's doing it?
And I apologize, the Preservation Ohio was supposed to send me a township ordinance
Okay.
in Ohio. And I will, whenever they do that, I will get that to you.
Great.
And they didn't get it to me as far as today is concerned. So, but when I get that, I will forward it to everybody.
Perfect.
What's the process that you go through to get certified?
I don't have a clue. Yeah, I just was reading your materials and say there's only 70 in the state of Ohio local communities that have been certified in that program. That was just what I saw here tonight. And I know that we're not one, because if we were one, we'd know it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if that process is comprehensive or not.
I mean,
I just like to see what.
yeah, and I'm not sure what the process is to go through to be certified, and what the difference is being certified
Yeah.
or not being certified.
Well, I know it starts with the eligibility for those grants you were talking about. You gotta be certified if you want to be eligible for those, but.
That would help in his part, correct?
Yeah.
If we had this ordinance, that gives them some authority to do these grants, us to do it or them to do it?
Well, I don't know if you have to be certified to, or if you have to have the ordinance to be a certified local government. There's a lot of moving pieces here, kind of, at once.
Would being a certified government or government body help in any other way?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I would like to see what Eric said, whether the communities is successful, and just see what it does, so if it is something that a year or 2 years or whatever, then we can look at our law record and say, hey, guys, this is a great thing, this community's doing, it's working for them. That's, I don't know about these two, that's what I like to see, for me to make up a
And
solid.
with a particular emphasis on other townships.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right,
Because obviously municipalities can do a lot we can't.
We
right.
gotta do townships,
Right.
and you can find townships all over.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's even some, wherever, Columbia, where we can look.
Right.
And it is a specific township. And
Is there only one, or is there several?
There's two
Only two?
on the list of approved
Russell
projects.
Oh, okay, good.
There's two.
One in Essex County, one in
Where's that?
Geauga.
That's
That's page
bad.
18.
Okay, got it.
Does that cover
I see.
every
Russell
town,
Township
any,
and
all
Scott Township.
townships?
But then when you
in
look at the
Ohio?
list
That's the only two?
yes,
for certified local governments, those two don't show up on the last page.
they don't show up as being certified.
No, but Brookfield Township does.
Adams County is down on the rivers where
Down the
it's
river.
at, yeah.
I mean, Eric, that'd be something, again, for,
Sure.
for me personally, I like
Yeah.
when you research it, and then I like to see what this, and how it works for the other townships. And that,
And then I'll email them again and say,
Just see what's-
listen, I need this now.
Yeah, I'd love to look at it.
Don't wait any longer. And there is the possibility that we could even have a historic district or corridor like Market Avenue, because we have 3 homes, and then if you go on down Market Avenue, you have the National Historic Register, home on down, so you have 4 homes on Market Avenue.
what's that for this country?
Plus, we're looking at another farm on down past Blair's Cleaners. We're looking at that particular property to see when it was built.
That's funny, those two townships, those must be townships with plenty of historical sites, I take it.
So I will email them again and look at that and get that, I'll get that to Lisa.
That'd be great.
And then whatever, you could, our law director research, because I like listening to his recommendation, and we can look at it and say, hey, this is a great thing for the community. I don't see this happening, or that happening, or this happening.
Right.
Again, I'm just speaking for myself, not for the other people.
Okay, and I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks.
And here's another copy.
Oh, good, yeah, that way. Yeah.
That'll wrap up our work session. We'll take a break until 6 o'clock when we'll reconvene for our normal meeting.